Things are getting ready to get pretty nasty. Over the last several days, we have been tracking a winter storm to impact portions of the northern country, and that just so happens to be starting today. The National Weather Service has issued tons of winter storm warnings, advisories, and even blizzard warnings for portions of the country. In today's video, we'll be discussing what we can expect out of this winter system in regarding to the heavy snow, the very strong winds, as well as the extremely cold temperatures, potentially well into the negative 30s across the north. Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Hope everyone is doing all right. Glad to have you guys here for today. We got a lot of stuff on the table to talk about regarding this winter system. First off, taking a look here at the National Weather Service hazards issued by, of course, the National Weather Service. So, starting off with this purple shaded color, you can see right around in here, you see a lot of, kind of spotty purple shaded colors. Those are winter weather advisories, showing that some impacts of winter weather is expected. Now, across portions here of the pink, these are all winter storm warnings, and they have grown a lot since we've seen yesterday in the live stream. So, those are basically where heavy impacts of winter weather is expected. Obviously, over a short distance, this can drastically change, with accumulations and stuff like that. But just know that across the pink, you're in for quite a ride. Now, across portions here of southern Minnesota, as of now, we do have ourselves in the orange here some blizzard warnings that is in effect. Obviously, where heavy winds combated with some heavy snow and poor visibilities will allow for some dangerous conditions across those areas. Now, I do expect the blizzard warnings to actually potentially stretch away a little bit more further south, so we'll just continue watching that over the next few days. And then, of course, lastly, we have our winter storm watches across the shade of blue. Obviously, where winter weather, heavy impacts could be possible down the line. I do expect a lot of these to turn into warnings tonight into portions of tomorrow. Alrighty, so now we're moving on into the snowfall accumulations in terms of how much snow we can expect out of this system. So first up, we're taking a look here across the northern country for areas here towards Nebraska, portions of South and North Dakota here. These are the zones across that light blue, kind of around in these shades here, where we are expecting potentially 1 to 3 inches. Now, you guys might be wondering, well, what are we taking a look at? This is the National Weather Service blend of models. Takes a whole bunch of models, it kind of blends them together, giving the average snowfall between what all of them have to say. So once again, 1 to 3 inches across a lot of areas here in northwestern Minnesota, western portions of Iowa, portions of Nebraska, and North and South Dakota. So now we're moving on into the areas here a little more to the east, and as you can see, things are getting a little bit more concerning. So across portions here of Wisconsin, this is kind of the zone we are potentially expecting maybe 4 to 8 inches across some of these regions in Wisconsin. Things could get pretty nasty regarding to the snowfall accumulations across those areas there. Now watch what happens. Across portions here of Michigan, on the western side of the state, as well as the entire upper state, these areas could potentially see well over a foot of snow. Perhaps some areas may even be breaking 2 feet, which is definitely concerning and would definitely have a lot of heavy impacts. So moving down a little bit more further to the south here, you can see that snow line of about 1 inch kind of cuts off across portions here of Tennessee. Although some areas, according to the blend of models here, does show the possibility we could see a trace, maybe to a dusting here across portions here of the southeast for areas of Mississippi and portions of Alabama, maybe even portions of northern Georgia. Could see a little bit of a trace of snowfall, but nothing too crazy, especially nothing crazy like what we're going to see across the north. And then, of course, lastly here across portions of the northeastern country, we are actually seeing a lot of snowfall for areas here in the far western section of the northeast. You can see right here towards the coastline where it might be a little bit more warmer is kind of cutting off with a lot of snowfall, although a little bit is possible across some of these regions here right near the coastlines. Now we take a look here towards Buffalo. Now there's a possibility we could see a lot of lake effect snow there, potentially bringing a couple feet of snow. Maybe 1 to 2 feet could be expected near the Buffalo area. Same thing for portions of northwestern, pretty much north portions of New York State. You can see how the little marker here shows well over 2 feet of snow being possible. So that's something we're going to have to monitor over the next little bit as well as the system does get closer to those areas. Alright, so I want to go ahead and take 1 second to take a look here at the current radar view regarding what is already starting to kick off across the country. As you can see across the north for areas of like North South Dakota, portions of Wyoming, even portions of Iowa and Minnesota, we're already starting to see a decent amount of snowfall falling across these regions. Now all the snow, as you're going to see here next in the future radar, is eventually going to sweep its way down to the south, obviously eventually moving its way across the Ohio Valley and then kicking off to the northeast, as we're going to see here in a minute. I want to go ahead and mention, right now we do actually have a snow squall warning. By the time you're watching this will probably be expired here, but it's just going to show you that we are seeing some near whiteout conditions across these areas. You can really see where that blue is starting to pop up there. That is showing some serious amounts of rates of snowfall that's falling with potential few inches per hour could be possible out of the system. All right, so now we're moving on into the future radar based off of the NAM 3-kilometer model here. If you want to follow along in time, you guys can take a look right there. You can see the little timestamp there. So obviously across the northwest is where the snow is going to start. So we track our way down here in time. The current time right now is about 1 o'clock. So kind of right around in here. We're already starting to see some of that snow move into portions here of North and South Dakota and portions of Minnesota here. So as we track our way down here towards midnight, towards midnight tonight here, we are going to see that snow really start to punch down across portions here of Nebraska, even into potentially portions here of Kansas, moving into Iowa, a lot in the portions here of Wisconsin here for the most part. Cold air is going to start blasting its way down through the country tonight. Now, once we move into around tomorrow afternoon here for the 22nd, we're going to start to see that snow moving into portions here towards Missouri, into portions of Illinois, and through portions still continuing in Wisconsin. So things are going to be really starting to kick up around this point in time. A little bit of snow will be falling across portions of the lower portions of the northeast here as well, kind of for here tomorrow afternoon. Now we track our way down here even further, kind of around the midnight hours here of the 23rd, so we can actually start to see how we are going to be seeing some snowfall across portions of Tennessee, portions of Kentucky, Ohio, portions here of Indiana, and a lot of Michigan. Like I said, Michigan is really expected to see a decent amount of snowfall across a lot of these regions, so that's something we're going to really have to continue watching. Now eventually all the snow will track its way up here to the northeast, basically here for the 23rd, exiting the region here just before Christmas Eve, so that's kind of what we're talking about. Alright, so I want to go ahead and take a look here at the wind gust that's expected out of the system too. So that's one of the three main concerns with this in particular system. As mentioned before, the snowfall, the winds, and the temperatures. It's going to be quite brutal across the country. So regarding the wind gusts here, we are expecting those winds to really start cranking here for portions of tomorrow across the central country. Wind gusts for a lot of these areas could be around 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. Once again, these are gusts what the winds could get up to for basically sustained under a minute. Now we track our way down here even further for portions of Christmas Eve. We start to see that winds really start kicking up across portions of the Ohio Valley. Once again, kind of around 35 to 45 miles per hour. Now, some areas here towards like Maine could actually get 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Same thing for portions of like northern, northeastern Ohio, kind of towards Cleveland area. Potentially could get stronger, which is definitely pretty concerning. So, like I said, this is a good reason of why I really do believe that we are potentially going to be seeing, some potential blizzard conditions, regarding things. Because, like I said, mixture of the snowfall, mixture of the winds. Things are in place here for blizzard conditions, so we're going to really have to be watching out for that. Alrighty guys, so the last thing we're going to be talking about here is the temperatures across the nation, because let me tell you, it is going to be very, very, very cold here. So here for tonight, we are going to see this big old cold front move its way towards the region here, potentially driving those temperatures here in the negative 20s to potentially negative 30s across portions of the north. Areas such as Wyoming and the portions of Montana could get very, very, very cold there, potentially near negative 30, which is crazy. That's not even the wind chill. That's straight up your temperature outside. The wind chills could get even into the negative 50s, which any exposed skin in as little as 5 minutes could actually allow for some frostbite to occur, which is crazy. But anyways, we track our way down here in time, and you see this big old cold front sweep its way towards the region. Now, the crazy part is, it's pretty bad whenever central portions of Florida get below freezing. It is definitely set to be very, very cold across a lot of the country. That 0-degree marker is literally set to be all the way as far down south as portions here of Kansas and the portions here of the western Ohio Valley. We take a look here a little bit back. You can actually see how that freezing, or that 0-degree marker, actually makes its way here towards portions of the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. Very, very cold temperatures is set ahead. So everyone, you might want to bundle up for this, because it is going to be absolutely brutal. But anyways, my friends, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the quick little update here for y'all. If y'all did enjoy it, make sure you leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. We'll be live here around 9:30 tonight, so make sure you guys are there with us. We'll be doing a personal forecast in regarding to your specific location. We'll take a look at the winds, the snowfall, as well as the cold temperatures for your local area. All right, my friends. Well, once again, thank you all so much for joining us. Please have a wonderful rest of your day, and please stay safe out there. And all right, y'all. Catch you all here in the next one. Peace out.